The Indian Famine of 1899 to 1900, drought, empire, and the price of survival. Triggered by drought, the famine began with the failure of the 1899 monsoon, especially in central and western India, including the regions of Bombay Presidency, central provinces, Rajputana, and Hyderabad. Rainfall was minimal or non-existent, devastating crops and drinking water supplies. Millions affected. An estimated 1 to 4.5 million people died from starvation, disease, and related causes, and tens of millions were affected through malnutrition, displacement, and extreme poverty. Colonial policy made it worse. British colonial administrators followed strict economic policies, including continued grain exports, limited relief for those deemed undeserving, and a focus on work-based aid camps instead of direct food distribution, worsening the crisis. Exporting food while people starved. Even during the worst years of the famine, grain was exported from India to Britain and other markets. This sparked outrage and remains a key example of how imperial priorities overruled humanitarian need. A public health catastrophe, famine was compounded by epidemics of cholera, malaria, and smallpox, especially as weakened populations were unable to resist infection. Disease killed many who had survived starvation. A landscape of desperation. Reports described villages empty, roads filled with begging children and skeletal families, and corpses in the open. Some areas were so badly hit that entire communities vanished. Relief that came too late. The British eventually opened relief works, soup kitchens, and food for labor programs, but the measures often came too late, were too rigid, and excluded many based on colonial classifications of the able-bodied versus the helpless. Environmental and economic factors. The famine wasn't just due to nature. Decades of deforestation, forced cash crop production, like cotton and indigo, and disruption of local food systems had made India extremely vulnerable to any climate shock. Photographs that shocked the world. For one of the first times, photographic evidence of famine victims, sunken-eyed children, mass graves, and dying villagers circulated globally, sparking debates about colonialism and humanitarianism. A catalyst for change. The horrors of the famine contributed to growing Indian nationalist sentiment, distrust in British rule, and future demand for self-governance and food security reform.